Oke, halo semuanya. Halo, saya Doni dari The Hotel School. Saya based di Jakarta. Jadi saya country manager dari The Hotel School di Indonesia. Menyapa semuanya yang hari ini sudah bergabung. Terima kasih sekali. Kali ini kita akan memulai kick off the first IG Live kali ini. Namanya BIS Taman, Bincang Santai Pariwisata bersama teman. Dan untuk pertama kalinya saya mau undang teman saya dari Berlin, Jerman, Christine Kneus. Kita kenal sudah lama banget. Zamannya saya dulu kerja di kantor saya yang lama, dan dia such an amazing person. So let me invite her to join in. Dan please, if you do have questions, ada pertanyaan atau pengen nimbrung, say hi, lalu juga bisa tanya langsung di komen atau di box questions tadi. Dan kita sedikit ngomongin tentang Berlin, Jerman, tempat di mana Christine sekarang sedang berada. Semoga seru, jadi please stick with us. Dan semoga enjoying this afternoon selagi menunggu matahari terbenam. Jadi stick with us ya. Halo Mary, halo Epi, Eka, semuanya terima kasih sudah bergabung. Dan sekarang ada, hai Christine.
Still testing with the connection, just making sure it works. Can you hear me?
Yes, bisa.
Excellent.
Gimana kabarnya?
Kabar baik, terima kasih. Gimana Doni? How are
Baik,
you?
baik banget. Jadi Christine ini kita temenan sudah lama ya. We've been friends for like, well, I think 2 years, 3 years, I think, right? Kita sudah temenan for about couple of years already. We used to work in the same company, ya, Christine ya, the same university back then. Dan I know that Christine is such an amazing person. Everywhere she goes, she always smile, selalu tersenyum. Itu yang saya salut sama Christine. Spreading all the infectious smile. Apa kabar di sana?
Kabar baik, terima kasih Doni. Doni, we have a fantastic weather today. Just 2 months ago, it was still snowstorming, and
Snowing.
now it's just beautiful. Yes.
Ah,
Perfect.
so it's facing to the springtime already right now, right? Is it?
Yes, exactly. Every week we have different colored flowers in our garden, so it's definitely springtime.
Aduh, kangen ini ya, springtime di sana pasti indah banget ya. Bunga-bunga, all the flowers are colorful, everything just become green. So there's something that we don't have here in Indonesia, like we do have colorful flowers and green leaves, trees, but I mean like the transition of having the widest days of winter to become a springtime. Itu yang kita nggak punya. We don't have it here in Indonesia, as you know, right?
Yeah, that's what I miss sometimes. I mean, I love Indonesia, tapi kadang-kadang the moment kalau itu satu minggu itu salju, and the next week you have butterflies and birds everywhere. It's a little bit magical. So I'm glad I got that
Ah.
time. Yeah.
Bagi yang agak-agak mikir, why do we like having a bit of delay? So please excuse us, guys. Mohon maaf kalau there's a delay because of the connection. You know, Jakarta and Berlin is like 5 hours difference, so maybe the satellite also needs time to connect us, our audio. So really, really sorry for that. Tapi yang jelas gini, Christine, actually you are based in Jakarta ya. You're married to a wonderful man, Indonesian guy. But what happened? Why you're in Berlin right now? And how long have you been there?
Nah, that's a good question. So sebenarnya aku mau bantu ibu saya untuk pindah rumah. Karena itu we don't have much furniture ya, cuma ini, dan itu semua gambar udah off the walls. So
Ah,
sebenarnya tanggal Maret 22, aku cuma mau ke sini 2,5 minggu buat bantu ibu saya. Tapi karena corona, karena COVID, ya aku nggak bisa kembali lagi. Itu udah 3 bulan.
3 months, 3 months. The border is closed and
Ya,
you cannot go back to Indonesia.
bener, bener.
Oh gosh, sayang banget. Ini kita omongin ntar ya, kita omongin nih. It's a unique situation that you have here. I believe you're not the only one that having this situation, because I believe some other friends also having this kind of situation, become stuck in different cities or different countries and they cannot go back to their home, meet their family. But let's just start, okay? So welcome guys, this is BIS
Boleh.
Taman, the kick-off of BIS Taman, Bincang Santai Pariwisata Bareng Teman. And our Teman for today is Christine Kneus, a travel enthusiast and also a story seeker. Yeah, so that is a very exciting experience for me. A very exciting opportunities that you already give me. That you're willing to become my friends for today's talk show in Instagram Live. Christine, thank you very much first of all. But before we talk about what is travel enthusiast and what you mean with story seeker, maybe you can tell me a little bit. So you were actually a lecturer, right? You used to work in hotel as well, and then you work in universities. Can you tell more about your previous job experience, maybe? Just a very recent one. It's okay.
Sure.
Aku tahu, tapi yang lain belum tahu. Kita jelasin aja.
Ya. Ya, halo semuanya. So, terima kasih Doni. You already introduced me really nicely. To give you some context, itu how I came to Indonesia, maybe in the first place, itu nomor satu aku lahir di sana sih sebenarnya. Cuma langsung
Dimana, kota
when I
mana?
was born, di Jakarta, Blok M.
Oh,
Rumah sakit Asih. Yeah. Tapi itu, as soon as I was born, I moved to Germany within 3 months, right? And when I returned, finally had the chance to return, karena Indonesia was always close to my heart because my mother is Indonesian, she's from Manado, so we came back a lot to Indonesia, back and forth. And finally, we made connections, and I was already a digital strategist. My background is marketing, business, and finance. So I already had these friends who were working at this hotel in Jakarta, and they invited me to contribute to their work. And I came there. I was excited to be in Jakarta, and I just didn't want to leave. And I just continued working for this hotel. I did my PhD thesis on digital strategy for hospitality as well as for education, and I segued from there, from the hotel business to education, and became head of programs of communications at that university where we were working together, Donnie.
Okay. Kalau yang terakhir saya tahu, the last time I know, when you were in, I just mentioned the brand of the university, if I may, right? I don't know, right? We know each other when we were working at BINUS, yeah. You are one of the lecturers and also program director for communication, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
That's right.
All right, okay. So that's why this is a very good person that we talk with right now, guys. Jadi kita dapat kedatangan tamu yang top, markotop, mantap. Okay, so Christine, let's just move back to our conversation. Basically, travel enthusiast is a very, I think everybody familiar with travel enthusiast, right? But story seeker, what is it? What is story seeker? Apa sih story seeker? What do you mean with that? Is it related to how you love traveling as a travel enthusiast and then you do more as a story seeker? What do you mean with that?
Story seeker, the idea of this comes behind the fact that my father was a great storyteller. He experienced amazing things while he was traveling. And actually what made it so interesting is my father was born during the wartime. So he didn't have the same opportunities like, the coming generations. So he never saw the ocean until he was 20. That's the background story. So he was just, he had a great childhood, bar the war, I want to say. But he had amazing stories from his childhood. But once he started to travel, he just didn't stop. And these stories that accompanied me my whole life were about people. And he was a journalist too and worked in the radio, and he brought radio also and helped develop with the Indonesian government radio in Indonesia. So I was surrounded by stories all my life and travel. So when I started traveling, I wasn't looking for the 5 greatest touristic places to see. I was trying to find the 5 most strangest, interesting people I could possibly meet any place I went, because I think that's what made me remember the place, the people, So Story Chaser is really more about, individual and trying to find stories of local people and their experiences. So that is the background.
Okay. So basically it starts from your curiosity, yeah? Your love to travel, and then you have more curiosity to not just see the normal things, what people do and what people see in a place. We also want to experience other things that probably unique and different, because that's what worth to be searched for. Itu yang pantas untuk dicari kan, sesuatu yang orang lain nggak tahu. Because if you want to know, like in Jakarta, you want to know about Ancol and Monas, you can just like go to websites and hear from other people, but you want to know more, something that you haven't heard or you haven't found out from any other source, right? Is that when you will be story seeker, ya?
Itu benar. Itu seperti kalian tahu ini Humans of New York? Udah pernah dengar? Itu Humans of New York, itu tentang orang, itu sebenarnya stranger, tapi itu essence dari story orang, itu bisa keluar the karakter, sifat, dan it can bring out what this person is all about and their experience and relationship with the city. And I think that's what makes me fall in love with any city, no matter how ugly it seems. That's what, I love.
Okay. Nah, jadi sebenarnya semua orang juga bisa ya menjadi seorang story seeker ya. Everybody can also become a story seeker. There's always a story seeker inside everybody. It's just a matter of how you want to express it and make it and realize it. You want like make it into something that you can share to other people, right?
I think so. I think once people explore storytelling and stories in general, and once you fall in love with it, it's just hard to live without it. So if you were lucky enough to have the experience to grow up with good stories when you're little, you'll never lose that ability, right? But as an adult, I think once you meet or have that experience, you'll just get hooked. I think that's how it is.
Aku tahu sih, kayak salah satu hal yang bisa kamu lakukan, teman-teman, adalah kayak Christine selalu bawa kamera, ya kan? You always have your camera everywhere you go. You're lucky enough to bring your camera, and you're lucky enough to like, in the moment you see this unique thing, then you want to just like take picture of it and try to find out more about what you think. Okay, so you have the camera there. Penting ya. Tapi zaman sekarang, if you don't have camera, you can always use your phone as well, right? It's okay. What important is, yang penting adalah dari gimana kita menjalaninya, gitu kan ya. So I know that we've lucky enough to travel together. Kita pernah travel together ya, Christine, for work ya. Kita ke Cambodia back then, and also Myanmar, Yangon. So aku tahu gimana penasarannya Christine sama hal-hal baru, yang namanya ngerasain jajanan di pasar di Myanmar, yang namanya curious sama naik tuk-tuk di Cambodia. So Christine is a very curious person in terms of traveling. Jadi itu satu hal yang sangat menyenangkan, dan ya aku acungi jempol untuk itu. Jadi and now I know that you come to Berlin to help your mom. So Berlin is not something strange for you, yeah. not something foreign because you have your family there. So you come to Berlin quite often. It's like pulang kampung for you, actually, right?
It's my second home. That's right.
Yes, okay, yeah. But you got stuck there. So this happened because of pandemic, right? It
That's
happened because
right.
of pandemic.
Why not?
So ceritain dikit dong, maaf nih kita mungkin ngebahas yang agak relevan dulu aja sekarang. Jadi kalau di Jerman itu kan pandemic ya hits everywhere. Tapi di Jerman gimana? Di Berlin deh
Nah,
gimana
itu
tuh pandemic?
this is an interesting question karena itu Jerman overall, the way that Germany handled the situation, Corona at the moment, internationally, I think we get a lot of positive feedback. We had a lot of testing. We implemented a lot of rules very early about social distancing. And thirdly, people received a lot of money. Not me,
Okay.
not me personally, tapi itu employees di Indonesia and small and medium businesses got quite a lot of support from the government karena the government knew the next couple of months business will be slow, right? And I think the situation is still difficult. Businesses are not enjoying this time, but they are having a lot more financial security than people in other countries right now. So we have less layoffs. We have less people complaining about not knowing what to do, changing jobs. That right now is actually quite, it's in a good condition. And because our Internet of Things is very big, Internet of Things in engineering and technology is a big industry. Actually, you can still get jobs in Germany during this time.
Okay.
So the condition is good, right? The
Condition is good.
Yeah.
But of course, like everywhere.
Berlin.
Okay. Kalau Berlin sendiri, if I see the statistic ya, but I think Berlin is quite okay.
Yeah.
I mean, untuk number of positive, confirmed positive, and yang lain-lainnya kayaknya it's quite okay compared to the other city in Germany, right? I think they handle everything well, right? Untuk social distancing regulation and everything. So basically, like in general for people, the social distancing implemented by government, what does it look like back then and now? Like first, back then, what regulation back then for social distancing PSBB di Jakarta?
Nah, itu. So first of all, kalian you have to know, biasanya keluarga di Jerman nggak punya banyak anak-anak. Mungkin ada satu. Seperti di keluarga saya nggak ada banyak juga ya. It's just me. So social distancing is easier in terms of when we have a household, many kids don't really live with their parents anymore anyway. After they turn 18, usually they move out or earlier even. So we don't have that contact between older people and younger people so much. The old regulation said that you could go out with a person on the street with a safety distance between 1.5 meters and 2 meters, a bit awkward, far distance but it was only allowed to be from one household. So we say household in Germany because a lot of people live together that are not a family, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Iya, aku tahu maksudnya.
The whole point is to keep the virus in households, right? So only one household are out together and only 2 people in one group. It couldn't be larger.
Okay.
Now it's different. Now the groups can be a little bigger and it can be two households. So let's say you and your wife and me and my husband, we meet up on the street. We could meet up. We still need to keep the distance apart, but we're 2 households, so it's okay. But we still need to be less than 5 people, right? So the amount of people still should be not too many. For restaurants, this is a very interesting situation. For restaurants, it gets a bit complicated. So now 2 households can be around a table in a restaurant, but the tables have to be 1.5 meters apart and you can't stand in between. So you have to wear a mask when you
Uh-huh.
go in, when you go out. But when you eat,
Yeah.
you know when you drink your cup of coffee, right? You're not going to wear your masker, so you have to take it off. So at the table, you
Uh-huh.
can take off your masker, but you can't sit too close. So basically, the rules this week have relaxed so much that we now have restaurants open. We
Mm-hmm.
now can, I think, church this kind of situation with 50 people, it's all open, but we are still tracking people's names. And in Germany, privacy is a big thing. So people don't really like, that's my impression, yes, people don't really like sharing personal information or sharing their internet data to show whether they're sick or not sick, because it's part of our culture, right? But yet it's possible now to meet in bigger groups. And I think you can see it lightening up, but we are yet to see whether the cases will increase again, which it should, right? Like in
Yeah.
South Korea. But right now we seem to be under good control.
Okay, okay, okay. So yeah, we always hope like everybody hoping that pandemic is over and then everything goes normal, people can travel again. I know, especially in Europe, there's so many beautiful countries, cities and countries to be visited. Usually you can just go from one country to another country in Europe, right? Also in Germany. So now it's like killing everybody that coming there, but they cannot travel. But let's go back to our discussion because Berlin, for instance. I know Berlin is very famous for as one of the beautiful city in Europe. Ya, Berlin itu terkenal banget, sebuah kota historical yang kita tahu sejarahnya kayak apa gitu kan, dan indah banget. Tapi sebenarnya nih kalau dari saya, for me myself, uh, Berlin kan has a history ya, has a history. Berlin has history with the previous war and everything. That I don't know, is it become the tourist attraction? But if it's become a tourist attraction, actually, maybe you can tell me, because sometimes if I'm curious about the history itself, but I have a German friend, I'm still wonder if it's okay for me to ask about the history there, because somehow it's famous as the dark era of any country that facing that kind of history, let's say war ya. Kalau di Jerman sendiri boleh nggak sih ngomongin, is it sensitive, is it okay to talk about this history?
I think from my experience, it is Germans welcome this conversation. But just to go backwards, is I was the generation after the war happened, or even the second generation after the war happened, right? My father was older in that case. So all our subjects in school were about this wartime and in order to prevent this happening again. And you probably know 6 million Jewish people died, but excluding the 6 million Jewish people, there were 1 million people, as we call them, gypsies or displaced people as well. And then, of course, victims who were supporting, the Jewish community as well. So there were more than just these 6-7 million people who died, of course. And because of that, I think the German government really encouraged people to have a discourse about it. So not only can you talk about it, it is also a big part of especially Berlin's tourism to clarify what's been happening. We have Jewish museums. We have the Stasi museums where people were spying on each other in Eastern Germany at the time, right? I don't know, how familiar are you with the East and West Germany? Do you remember that?
That's why I have this. That's
Okay.
why I do this Instagram live, because I know nothing. What I know is just Berlin is in Germany. The Berlin Wall is there. I know a bit about the history, but I'm really curious what's to see there. The wall is there. Yeah, it's become a tourist attraction right now, right?
Right. So I'll give you a little bit of context. Yeah. So Germany was split after the war into East and West Germany. Right.
Hey, sorry, Christine. Can you
So
just like turn down your volume? Can you turn down your volume a bit, because it's distorted? Maybe the volume on your headset or something like that.
You mean turn it down a little bit?
Okay.
Turn it down or turn it up? Okay. Let me
Turn it down or something. Ya, maaf guys kalau ada distorsi sedikit ya, teman-teman maaf sekali. Oke, continue.
All right. Test. You guys can let us know in the chat if it's weird, yeah? All right.
Yeah.
So the thing about Germany, we had East and West Germany after the war, and people in East Germany weren't allowed to enter West Germany or get out of East Germany. People were being held in, and it can be compared with North Korea a little bit, I suppose. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, you might
yeah.
be more familiar with North Korea than with East Germany now, but it was a similar situation in many ways. And my family had family in East Germany, and we had family in West Germany, which was where I was. And my father, in fact, was someone who ran away from East Germany when the wall was first built.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. But what's the difference? Why is it separated? Is it because the people who live there has different government or something like that?
So as you know, the Second World War, let's say Germany lost. We all know that Germany lost. And the country was divided to the Allied forces, which is the US, the UK, and to France, as well as the USSR, which was the biggest country in the world at the time, right? It doesn't exist anymore as such, which is the Eastern European states. This USSR took this East German part, the entire East German part. But if you know the German map, Berlin, so if this is West Germany and this is East Germany, Berlin is actually in the middle.
Okay.
So this is two different things. The wall in Berlin and the border, this is not the same thing. The wall in Berlin is actually around West Berlin.
Okay.
It's around West Berlin. So it's like an island. And now all these tourism parts are about how did they keep people out of West Berlin? And, why did people try to get from East Berlin into West Berlin when they could have just gone from anywhere else? The reason being that East Berlin and West Berlin, even though the borders were very strict and very dangerous to cross, it was still easier as if you crossed anywhere else. The patrols were crazy. So the current touristic sites are all around that wall area. So of course the wall most of it is down, but there is a 1.3 kilometer stretch around the Spree River. It's a big river in Berlin. And it's 1.3 kilometers of wall that has been kept. And more than 100 artists from 21 countries have painted this wall. And it's been it's beautiful and it's never being changed. It's being restored, it's being kept, and this incredible artworks are there for you to just walk across, and then you can see what's happening and the context of what happened during the time. So many places in Berlin, like Checkpoint Charlie, where people had to cross between East and West Berlin. That's another great place. And then, of course, the Jewish and the Stasi Museum. That's another amazing museum, and all around around the World War. But of course, Berlin's history is not just the World War. Berlin is more than 800 years old. So we had kings living here, and we have architecture that are way, way beyond that. So when Berlin was bombed, it was a big deal because this beautiful architecture from 800 years that still stands here was destroyed, and we had to rebuild it again. So our entire political area, the Bundestag, our state's house, which has now a glass thing on it, all this beautiful architecture. And you have to walk up, yes. Yeah. I've done it 3 times. My feet hurt every time. It doesn't seem that big, but it is. Just go up.
What do you call it? Bundestag? Bundestag? What do you call it?
This is
Bundestag.
There's the Reichstag, which is the glass thing. So, and then there's the Bundestag. So we have different kind of political places where politics is done, but they're all in one little block.
Okay. Menarik ya. So jadi emang Berlin emang karena historinya yang sudah lama, dia sangat banyak sekali sceneries yang indah hasil dari peninggalan sejarah tersebut ya kan. Ada old buildings, ada juga peninggalan dari zaman perang tersebut, mulai dari tembok Berlin yang sekarang jadi 1,3 1.3 kilometer is it? 1,3 kilometer ya of wall
Yes.
with graffiti, all graffiti ya. Oke, jadi indah banget.
Paintings.
Paintings and
Yeah.
everything.
Indah.
Ada gateway-nya juga. There's a gerbang of what is it? Brandenburg? Is that if I'm not mistaken? Like there's a gateway, the checkpoint, as you mentioned. And
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, there's also the I think what I can call it like cemetery of the former Jewish cemetery during the wartime.
I think they have the cemetery, but what is interesting is they built this memorial that looks which with these cement blocks, and each block is supposed to represent. Right? So it's like a cemetery, but nobody is there. So there is the cemetery, but this one the artwork is sort of mirroring that as well. So we have that too.
So this is like the monument they have in Avengers Endgame, is it? When they put the names of the people that missing. Because of Thanos snap his finger, you know, kalau kalian nonton Endgame, The Avengers itu ada tuh yang memorial monumen gitu yang ada nama-namanya teman-teman. Nah kayak gitu, cuma ini peninggalan sejarah dari zaman Perang Dunia Kedua waktu itu, nama-nama yang korban Perang Dunia Kedua gitu. Terus, okay, so historical site, that's for sure. Which is very wonderful things to see and to do and to explore in Berlin. Maybe if we can do something else, if not just about history. I'm honestly, I'm a music person. I love music. How about arts and music? I know that Europe is really big in DJ, you know, like party festival. So I know that's one of the big thing in German. I know that ballet is also big in German, orchestra as well, right? So can you tell more about arts and how is it being introduced into or contribute into the German or Berlin's, specifically Berlin's tourism? Oh,
so,
hold on.
Donnie,
we have Christine, sorry, we have Agatha, our former colleagues. Hi, Agatha.
Oh, I can see the screen. Hi, Agatha. How you doing?
Okay. So about the music scene and how it's contributed or being promoted as part of the tourism in Berlin.
Yeah, so music, where would I take you? You know what I would do? I would call Sandy Sondoro.
Yeah, Sandy Sondoro. He was in German, right?
Yes,
you know
Sandy
him?
is yeah. I don't want to say too well because now it sounds like I would like to know him even better, but I have followed a lot of his music. He wrote a song about Berlin, and I film him once in a while when I get the chance, but he's actually friends with Leo, my husband. So Sandy often is in Berlin and he performs. So if I was having to host you, Donnie, in Berlin, I would call Sandy and say, hey, Sandy, you probably know better where Donnie would enjoy the music right now. But yes, there's a lot of live music here.
Live music.
We have amazing. But you know, I was always a little bit more involved with jazz music. So I was with my dad. I went to Yorkschlösschen. It's like a little castle. So I went there to listen to local jazz performances. There is a huge techno scene, huge here. I never go to those, but you might enjoy them. So there's a lot of that.
I love jazz.
And in terms of, you'd love jazz. Okay, we'll go to Yorkschlösschen, but there's more, of course. And what's really, of course, there's a lot of concerts here. The Blue Man Group has been a staple, you know, in terms of musicals and you know, arts. So we have this amazing arts that are consistent. And what we also have is we have, of course, one of the best orchestras in the world, the Philharmonie, Berlin Philharmonie.
Okay.
And we have something. It's just everywhere. So we have musicals, we have cabaret, theater. I don't know where to start, but with you, and I know, I remember you really enjoyed. How do you say the genre? Is it what you say, R&B,
R&B,
Motown? What?
funk, Motown, R&B, and funk music. Yeah, that's what I like.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
that's just for you particularly. There's a lot here, but I just haven't been here for a while to explore that with friends, and it would be more fun with friends. So I suppose I can research that a bit more. But in the meanwhile, ask Sandy, Sondoro.
Mm. And I'm sorry, I just mentioned because German also big in music production, right? In DJ and everything. There are many DJ from Europe, from Germany, from Netherlands, of course. So in Germany, I know that in Europe in general, I think in Berlin as well, they're big in festival. I heard one time there's an annual big festival called Love Festival, Festival of Love. Is it still happening? And what is it
The
about?
Love Parade.
The Love
The
Parade.
Love
Okay, yeah.
Parade.
Yeah.
So the Love Parade, that unfortunately doesn't exist anymore, but it was huge. So we had about 800,000 people come every year to this. It's a festival where you just go all out. It's a little bit like a Mardi Gras, if I say so? A Mardi Gras
Mardi
slash
Gras or Woodstock, is it?
that style, right? But it's techno.
Okay.
It's not many clothes, I want to say, but a lot of color and feathers. And I never went to one because I was too young at the time. And when I was old enough, I think I just wasn't wild enough, but it was a wild thing to do. And the Love Parade was always a symbol against standing against anything that's harmful to others. It was all about love, really. But what happened, unfortunately, in the last Love Parade, the numbers went up so fast, from 800,000 to nearly 1.5 million people coming to this festival, to come on these carts and just party. And there was a panic, and people got trampled. And of course, that's not the whole purpose of a Love Parade. And because of dozens of people died. So after that, they just said, look, this Love Parade has served this purpose. But the spirit
so
of
there's casualties
were there.
happen, ya?
Casualties,
Ya, jadi emang hati-hati sih ya teman-teman ya. Emang kita kadang-kadang suka travel, salah satu purpose-nya nonton konser, kita pengen ikut festival, ya kan? Kita jauh-jauh udah traveling, buying ticket, book hotel to watch a concert, to do festival. But then we should know our limit. When it's too dangerous, you see if it's too dangerous to jump into the crowd, don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, anything could happen ya, because there's always risk on doing everything. Selalu ada resikonya. Salah satunya kayak tadi Love Parade tadi di Jerman yang sebenarnya adalah merayakan cinta, ya kan? Karena mereka sangat cinta damai di Jerman itu, di Berlin terutama. Tapi akhirnya harus dibatalkan. When was the last time? If you remember? The last Love Parade?
2010.
2010. So like 10 tahun lalu tuh Love Parade terakhir karena ada kecelakaan. Ya kan, yang harusnya datang 800.000 orang, naik jadi 1,5-an lebih. Akhirnya ada yang jatuh, keinget segala macam, akhirnya ada yang meninggal, dan itu we don't want that to happen. It's very very unfortunate things that happen. So, okay, music. That's my one favorite thing. And my other favorite thing is food. I think everybody also agree. Semua pasti setuju kalau mau kemana-mana pasti harus cobain makanan lokal sana kan. Nama harus pergi ke tempat yang kalau kata orang, now I want to go somewhere viral, somewhere Instagrammable, or somewhere famous. Well, somewhere famous and unique, which is we got it. We got the information from Instagram. So Instagrammable and viral. Is there can you tell me more about the local food in Germany or in Berlin, and somewhere viral in Berlin, if you know?
I don't know if food and viral goes together in Berlin that well, but the most eaten food, it's quite interesting. People would think it's sausage, right? Because we
Ya,
Germans,
bratwurst.
sausage,
Bratwurst.
Bratwurst, Kartoffeln, potatoes, right? Bratwurst and Kartoffeln, that's our thing. That's what I miss so much about Germany. But what people really like to eat here is Döner kebab, right?
Kebab?
So kebab, that's what we love. We eat more kebab than we eat sausages. And that is because after the war, the country had to be rebuilt, right? So our Berlin was in shambles. Germany was broken. Dan karena semua rusak, ya harus ada orang yang bantu with the with building the country again. And for us, many people were people from Poland, from Turkey, who came into this country and built it up, right? And that's why we have so many generations of Turkish here in Indonesia. Wrong, in Germany.
In
we have a
Berlin.
lot of Turkish people in Germany. Wonderful culture of Turkish food. So when you say to a German person, "What's your favorite food?" Yes, it will be probably sausage and potatoes, and
Tapi maaf,
it will be
sausage-nya ada yang
probably
halal kan?
dinner.
Sausage-nya ada yang halal ya? Ada
So
yang kalkun atau chicken?
we
Ada
have,
ya?
we have. So we have, the one that I eat is probably not halal, but we have because of our large community of people who wouldn't eat pork. Yeah, of course we have also halal foods, and I mean the mix is huge. We are one of the most diverse cities in Germany for sure. And I think we have 500,000 people live in Berlin that are not German.
Ah,
I'm German, but I'm already setengah-setengah, you know. So yeah, we have 500,000 people not of German origin. So the food and the culinary is huge. You know how people say Germans are crowds? Crowds. That comes from the
sauerkraut.
cabbage, right? A kraut is
Ya,
a cabbage.
kol asem.
And sauerkraut
Kol
is
asem, kubis asem ya.
asam, karena itu masuk di vinegar.
Cuka.
Nah, cuka. Ya. So itu rasanya cuka bener, dan itu rasanya nggak terlalu banget, tapi karena dulu itu bisa keep for a long time. Karena itu asam. Itu lebih dari makanan dari generasi dulu, tapi masih ada ya. Dan ada sauerkraut yang biasa aja, dan ada sauerkraut yang bikin sama champagne. So instead of vinegar, champagne, it's a very fancy sauerkraut. But we have it as well. So that's what I mean. Cheese, sausage. I'm a happy girl here in Berlin. And Döner kebab, yeah.
So, rekomendasinya Christine, paling enak kalau di Berlin kita mesti duduk atau di mana nyari sosis dan sauerkraut di mana nih? What to do? Like in one place you can recommend us where to buy the sausage. Well, you can find sausage everywhere, right? You can find sauerkraut everywhere, but where the best scenery, the best seat to do in one breezy afternoon, you know, to eat sausage
I will
and
give you.
sauerkraut.
I will give you my take as a story chaser, right? I don't care about the place. I would just do it. I would just have it at a train station. Pick anyone, eat it, and just look around you. And the joy is not that one special place, but moving around from station to station to eat it. There is one where people say it's the best, and I have forgotten the place. But the joy is really to go with friends and go from sausage place to sausage place, or doner kebab to doner kebab, and stand. You stand and you eat. You don't sit down.
Jangan duduk, berdiri di kereta.
Berdiri. Bukan di kereta, itu di tempat. Bukan, itu di tempat apa? Tempat kereta, the train station, stasiun kereta. Sebenarnya ada tempat untuk makan sosis, dan itu ada meja yang tinggi, tapi nggak ada kursi, ya berdiri di sana aja, dan nah gitu.
Tapi di kereta boleh makan nggak? kalau di Jerman?
Sebenarnya di kereta saya udah lihat banyak orang makan dan minum juga sih. Tapi boleh? Saya tidak tahu. Tapi sebenarnya
Nggak
saya
tahu
udah
ya.
lihat banyak orang makan di dalam kereta ya.
Oke, oke, oke.
Uh,
Ah, jadi
tapi
kulinernya itu ya.
mungkin kamu tahu kita punya tiga types of transportation ya. Kita punya S-Bahn on the street, kita punya
S-Bahn.
tram lebih kecil, dan kita punya kereta bener. So, itu ada
Oke.
kombinasi transportasi di Berlin dan bis ya, dan itu ada satu tiket dan bisa semuanya. So one is most of the
Ah,
time underground, but it goes
mhm.
above ground juga. So depending which
Kayak MRT,
area you
kayak
live.
MRT. Nah,
Benar. So itu kok, tapi so the connectivity in Berlin is super good, but there is one line. It's a tram line. It's called the M10. I think that's the number, yeah, the number 10. That is the party line. So setiap pagi Sabtu jam
mati lah.
10,
Eh,
all the guys from last night, from Friday night, are still up. And they're definitely eating a doner kebab, and they're definitely still having a drink. So that's that one line that I know this from.
Aduh, seru kayaknya Berlin ya. Aduh, Berlin tuh kan sebenarnya deket ya. Kok oke, ada airportnya, ada pasti. Berlin ada airport Berlin, bisa langsung ke Berlin. Tapi kadang-kadang orang Indonesia kan kalau ke Eropa pertama masuknya probably from Amsterdam atau from Paris or London atau Roma biasanya kan. Most of the access that we have are going to Rome, Amsterdam, or Paris or Frankfurt. Frankfurt, right? So Frankfurt is in
Oh,
Germany, right? Yeah, yeah. I mean, like,
Yes.
yeah.
You mean the flight?
The access for Indonesian, yeah, for flight. Usually, most of the time going there, right? So if we go, so the nearest transit probably from Frankfurt, yeah, Frankfurt. Then you can take a train to Berlin, or how?
Ya, karena sekarang udah ada direct flight ke Berlin sih, tapi masih ada stop in between. So kalau itu
Yeah, stop in between.
contoh kalau orang tinggal di Jakarta, sebenarnya yang flight masih lumayan banyak itu dengan Qatar, contoh itu lewat Doha dan bisa langsung ke Berlin, Doha Berlin, kalau saya nggak salah.
Okay, yeah.
Dan ada banyak yang Kuala Lumpur, dan kalau nggak, kadang-kadang kalau two stops, it's Amsterdam Berlin or Frankfurt Berlin, dari manapun.
Yeah.
Tapi it will finish in Berlin sebenarnya. But
So,
saya udah pernah dulu ada deal bisa lewat Hamburg. Hamburg itu cuma 2 jam dari Berlin utara ya. Kadang-kadang ada deal lebih murah ke Hamburg dulu, dan itu tiket kereta udah masuk. Tapi itu cuma 2 jam sama kereta ke Berlin juga ada.
Oke. Ada temen nggak sih, Christine, yang di Berlin yang kerja di tourism hospitality, mungkin yang punya restoran or working hotels? Do you have friends there? Because I think it's quite interesting to know what happened right now with pandemic. It must be a bit concerning, yeah. But have you heard anything from them?
Yeah, I have. I have friends who just now decided they will just take a holiday because they're just the shifts have been cut, right? Even though the restaurants are opening, and you have to wear this mouth mask as a waiter as well, and it's just not so pleasant, right? So a lot of them are just saying, look, let's just take this as our extended holiday, because you know, if you're a full-time employee, a lot of your costs have been covered as well already. But if you see,
Christine, I'm really sorry. Mungkin apa ya, speakernya atau mungkin mikrofonnya di.
My microphone is here. Can you hear me? Test?
Yeah, but there's the lenging distortion, so I wonder what happened. I'm sorry ya guys ya kalau ada bunyi distorsi. Maybe it's also from my side. I'm sorry. Maybe. Okay, just continue. Let's just continue. So dia akhirnya harus
No,
take off. Dia holiday.
a lot of them are taking holidays, but some of them are working through. But Hotel Adlon, are you familiar with that? Adlon Kempinski in Berlin?
Nggak juga sih. Nggak juga sih, belum.
Aku pikir kalau people like tourism or are working in hospitality, itu Adlon Kempinski ini, it's one of the top 10 sampai 50 hotels di dunia. Bagus banget. Dan hotel ini seberang Brandenburger Tor, juga tourism destination. It's a amazing place ya. So itu Hotel Adlon sekarang karena ada enggak terlalu aktif. What they're doing is they use their resources to they made special events for the homeless. They're using they're doing a lot of great things. So instead of using this time for business, they're using it for branding. Dan sekarang udah bisa beli room vouchers. You can buy it early. And Hotel Adlon itu sekarang kasih 1,000 rooms for all the heroes of this coronavirus pandemic. Nurses, doctors.
Berapa?
1,000.
Okay.
1,000 rooms. So itu enggak untuk sekarang, tapi nanti when this is over, they can use it until 2021. They can use these, and so Adlon is really using this time for branding and to just refresh their brand and to reflect. So I think itu hospitality industry sekarang banyak people karena there's such a big change and everybody is saying itu what is the new normal? See? A lot of people, they try to improve during this time. And I can see this in the hospitality industry. How can we give back to people? And Hotel Adlon is the one to look out for to set a really great standard, I think.
Jadi, even the government and also the private companies as well, their own companies, supposed to have this kind of solutions, to recover from this pandemic and facing the new normal, like what happened in Hotel Adlon as well. So basically, they prepare some budget for recovery, and I believe the government also creating and implement regulations as well. Untuk tadi restoran sudah boleh 50 orang masuk, harus keluar masuk pakai masker, nggak boleh sama orang asing. Maksudnya boleh, tapi harus di rumah yang household berbeda ya, household yang sama ya, seperti itu ya. So there are many regulation implemented. Itu kita harus belajar seperti Indonesia nih. We have to learn from other country as well. And when our government is actually learning from the different countries and they try to implement it to Indonesia, I think guys, we have to support this regulations and like really do as best as we can to obey the regulations and just because this is all for our own good as well, gini untuk kebaikan kita juga kan teman-teman ya. Jadi emang menarik sih, tapi emang Christine, intinya dari talk show ini kan, Instagram Live ini kita tuh mau encourage ya bahwa kita di hospitality dan tourism memang sedang mengalami sedikit pending ya kan, di Indonesia, di beberapa negara. Tapi yang jelas, we have to look at ourselves, look at the bright side. There's a hope because after all this pandemic, just look at ourselves. Kita sendiri juga pasti udah posting, kangen nih jalan-jalan, kangen nih traveling, I miss going here, there, I want to go there again. So there are demands for us to travel, just like all over the world. All people in this world also want to travel in the future. As soon as possible, so the industry is still going to survive for sure. So that's why this is a good moment to plan ahead. Means like planning for your next travel, also planning to maybe if you want to involve in hospitality as well. Don't be discouraged, jangan putus asa karena pasti akan balik lagi gitu ya. Bagi mereka yang kerja di hotel, kerja di restoran atau punya bisnis di hospitality, don't be discouraged. Karena we have bunch of travel enthusiasts and also story seeker like Christine here You know, I think all of you guys watching is also story seeker, also knows that yes, we do need to travel as soon as possible, and Berlin is one of the place to be visited soon, ya, Christine ya. Jadi kalau kita sih boleh rekomend, where do you think we should look at this information about Berlin? Just I think normal Google search Berlin will tell, but do you have any one good link, or maybe you have a travel blog that we can look?
You know what I always search for on Google is unusual places, like 10 things you didn't know about Berlin or 10 places you didn't know about Berlin. And there's a lot information sekarang, ya. Itu beda dari Jakarta. Karena dulu saya pernah, first time I come to Jakarta, itu susah banget. Karena padahal saya kerja di hotel industry, itu rekomendasi semuanya mirip. It was about go to Ancol or go to the mall, see? Tapi sekarang ya, tapi ya, so there's not one great resource place. Tapi do type in your interest. So contoh, if you're a musician, do write music Berlin and then your genre. You will find a big list. If you are on a cheap trip, you do write Berlin budget. Maybe you like alternative, you write alternative. On a budget, maybe you write alternative. If you love punk, there is a whole section on punk. I can't give you one resource, tapi I would just go by your style. Be very specific. Ask Google. A lot has been written about this.
Kalau menurut Christine, because sometimes for us going all the way from Indonesia going to Europe to Berlin, we also want to see other places. Kan? Maybe you can recommend us one, like how many days we should stay in Berlin and where to go after that, like the nearest city or the nearest country. What do you think is your recommendation?
Kalau cuma, if you have, so Berlin itself, this is my experience with my Indonesian family when we are here together. Berlin itself, I think 4 or 5 days, you definitely need to explore it overall, at least 4. Tapi kalau cuma mau just like check it for 1 or 2 things, the closest thing you can do is you can go to Potsdam. So, so Berlin, as I told you, it's like an island, right? I mean, it's not in water. It's just, Berlin is its own state. So it's a city and it's a state. But it's surrounded by the state of Brandenburg, a huge state. So we're in the middle. And you can take our little train with the price of a train, nothing crazy expensive. It's the same ticket as you used to move through Berlin. And you can get to the city called Potsdam, which is the capital of the state of Brandenburg. And it will take you, depending which part of Berlin you're at, it will take you only an hour to get there, plus minus, yeah. And it's totally different. It's green, it's got French castles, it looks very different. And I think that's a great place to be. And it's very friendly if you have elderly aunties, or you're elderly yourself, or you are in a wheelchair, who knows? It's very accessible, amazing place. So Potsdam is a big recommendation, only 1 hour from Berlin. 2 hours by car or by train, or 3 hours by bus is Hamburg. Hamburg is the fastest economically growing city in Germany. It's our media city. It's next to the water. All our good musicals are there. So Hamburg is great. And about 3 hours across the border, you can go to Prague. Praha, right? Prague. And Prague is